Hey everyone, it's me. Number 4. Where is the Garden of Eden? The Garden of Eden is one of the most famous places in all of human history. It's where life began for our species. According to the Bible, it was a perfect world with no pain, no hunger, no war, no nothing until sin entered the world. But where exactly was this place? In today's video, we're going to take a look at several different theories about where the Garden of Eden actually might have been located. Before we get started, be sure to hit that like button for more videos. Also stick around to the end if you want to hear my own thoughts on where the Garden of Eden might have been located. Let's get into it. Number 7. Mesopotamia. This is one of the more popular theories among theologians. They believe that the Garden of Eden was most likely located somewhere in Mesopotamia. Now, this is really not much of a surprise. If you've read the book of Genesis, there are several clues given away by God when he is speaking to Adam and Eve. When Adam and Eve ate from the tree of knowledge, they immediately realized that they were naked and tried to make themselves some loincloths out of fig leaves. God then made them coverings of animal skins and said, "Behold, the man has become like one of us in knowing good and evil. And now lest he put his hand also in the tree of life and eat and live forever." God drove him out from the Garden of Eden to till the ground from which he was taken, to make it a garden. In this passage, it talks about a tree of life. And so many people believe that this tree of life was an actual literal tree. And if this is true, this would point us to the Middle East. Because in the area of Mesopotamia, there are ruins of ancient gardens that may have had a tree of life in the center of it. Some believe that this could have been the very same tree. There are even stories of people coming across almond seeds that appear to be thousands of years old. If we go back to the story, we know that the first fruit that Adam and Eve ate from was a tree of the knowledge of good and evil, and the tree that they were told not to eat from. In the Middle East, there are trees that could have possibly been this tree, such as the ash or white cedar of Lebanon. Now, there are other references in the Bible to these trees. For instance, the cedar is mentioned over 90 times in the Old Testament. It's also believed that parts of the Garden of Eden could have been in present-day Iraq, Turkey, Syria, Iran. Of course, this is just a theory and there is no real proof to back any of this up. No. 6. Central Asia. Another theory is that the Garden of Eden was located in what is now known as Central Asia. There are two main reasons why people believe this. First off, there is a mountain range that is still known as the Mountains of Eden. So perhaps this is where Eden was. Secondly, there is an ancient city in Uzbekistan that appears to show evidence of having walls built around it to protect it. These walls almost look like they could have been used to keep animals in or out. Now, some people believe that this could have been the wall that God put up around the Garden of Eden to keep dangerous animals out. Unfortunately, there isn't much evidence to support either of these theories. No. 5. Greece. There is also a theory that the Garden of Eden was actually located in Greece. More specifically, it was probably near Mount Olympus. You see, Mount Olympus is the highest mountain in Greece, and it was believed that this is where all of the gods lived. So if God made man in his own image, would it not be fitting that he created the Garden of Eden in the place where he himself lived? Of course, this is only a theory, but there are some facts that might point us in this direction. One of the names of Mount Olympus in ancient Greek was called. It's possible that this name was mispronounced and turned into Gardinus, or Garden for short. It is also interesting to note that the ancient Greeks believed that there was a tree of life in the middle of their version of the Garden of Eden. And it wasn't just any tree. It was a sacred tree that was guarded by nymphs. People who followed the Greek religion believed that if you reached the top of the mountain, you would receive everlasting life. Perhaps this belief came from the belief in the tree of life in the actual Garden of Eden. There is also a cave in Greece that has a spring inside of it. The water from the spring never seems to run out, no matter how much is taken. People believe that maybe this could have been the water of life that flowed from the Garden of Eden. However, none of these theories have been proven to be correct, and we can only speculate as to whether or not any of them could be right. Number 4. The Persian Gulf. There are also some experts who believe that the Garden of Eden was actually located somewhere in the Persian Gulf. Now, this seems a bit strange, but hear me out. The Persian Gulf is bordered by Iraq, Kuwait, and Saudi Arabia. All three of these countries have flat, open deserts, but the Persian Gulf itself has lush vegetation, mangrove forests, and plenty of fresh water. It's easy to imagine that this paradisiac area could have been the Garden of Eden. Some people even believe that the Persian Gulf is actually the very same thing as the biblical Garden of Eden, except the Persian Gulf didn't exist back then. What they mean is that the Persian Gulf used to be a large river that emptied out into the ocean. Over time, this river dried up and turned into a salty body of water, hence the salt water in the Persian Gulf today. As you can imagine, this would have been an ideal spot for God to create the Garden of Eden. After all, it has everything that you need to sustain life, including water, plants, animals, etc. Now, this next theory is a little far-fetched, but some people actually believe that the Garden of Eden was located in India. Now, this is only a theory that is based on beliefs and opinions rather than historical facts. But there are some similarities between the Hindu beliefs and the Christian beliefs that may point us in this direction. For instance, both religions believe in a flood that happened before the beginning of time. Both religions believe that humans were created from clay or dust, and both religions believe that there is a heaven and hell. However, there are some differences, too. So while some people do believe that the Garden of Eden was in India, it's difficult to say for sure. Number 2. 7 Mile Hole, Belize. There's a small hole that is located near the town of 7 Mile Hole in Belize. Locals claim that this hole is the actual Garden of Eden. There are several reasons why people believe this. First off, the hole itself is quite beautiful. It's surrounded by lush vegetation and it contains fresh water. Secondly, the hole seems to have a never-ending supply of fish. No matter how many are taken, there always seems to be more. Thirdly, the hole has a large amount of wildlife, including monkeys, snakes, birds, and bats. And lastly, there is a large tree in the middle of the hole that appears to be very old. Some people believe that this tree is the very same tree of life that Adam and Eve ate from. However, there is no scientific evidence to prove this theory. It's possible that this is just a legend that has been passed down through generations. Number 1, this could just be a story. Let us take a look at the theory that the Garden of Eden was never a real place at all. It was just a story that was written to teach people about God and how He wants them to live. After all, the Bible was written hundreds of years ago, and it was written in a time when people believed that the earth was flat and that it was the center of the universe. So it is possible that the writers of the Bible just wrote down whatever they thought God had told them, without realizing that some of it wasn't quite accurate. This theory makes sense in a way, because if the earth is round, then where exactly is the middle of the earth? And if the earth is the center of the universe, then where exactly is the center of the universe? It doesn't seem to make sense. So perhaps the Garden of Eden was just a story. So where do I stand on all of this? In my opinion, I believe that the Garden of Eden was most likely located somewhere in the Middle East. There is just so much evidence that points us in this direction, such as the tree of life and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Plus, the Bible itself tells us that the river that flowed out of the Garden of Eden watered the garden, then it divided and became 4 rivers. Now, some people try to argue that these 4 rivers were actually 4 different directions, such as east, west, north, and south. But if you look at the text closely, it says that the river flowed out of Eden and watered the garden. This would imply that there was a physical river, not just a direction. So in my opinion, the Garden of Eden was located in the Middle East, most likely in what is now modern-day Iraq. Alright everyone, that's all for this video. I hope that you enjoyed learning about all of the different theories surrounding the Garden of Eden. If you did, be sure to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.